over here at HTM Sports. How's everybody doing this fine Sunday evening, man? So, as you see by the title, we are going to talk about some of these off-season rumors, and we're going to speak on the roster moves that have to happen for the Dallas Cowboys to stay competitive this upcoming season. There are things that have to happen for the Dallas Cowboys to be able to build a competent roster to compete, and there are definitely some moves that would hinder, you know, the Dallas Cowboys from doing that. So we're just gonna just dive right into that. We're gonna go, through each possible transaction, and we'll just go from there. But everybody, on your way in, please go ahead, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Right, we are trying to grow the channel, get up to 1,000 subscribers. I'm about halfway there. I'm sitting at 530. So please go ahead, hit that subscribe button if you have not. Also, I am not monetized on this page yet. So if you want to send a donation, please send donations to Hennythemoor at Cash App. I'm going to post it in the chat, pin it to the top. And now that we got the introduction, all the other good stuff out the way, we're gonna jump right into it. Hey, Michael Lockhart, what's up with you, man? Cowboys fan 95, what's up with you, Ken Folk? I appreciate you tapping in. Brian Kite, I see you in the chat with me. I appreciate you. All right. Amp Sports, what's up with you, man? I see you, my guy. I see you tapping in with me. But yeah, first and foremost, let's talk about this Dak Prescott contract, right? Jerry Jones went public and said that Dak Prescott's contract, would be hard to build a roster around, right? Hey, DC for life, what's up with you, man? James Simmons, what's up with you, man? I see y'all jumping in here with me. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the support. So yeah, man. He said that because of his contract, it would be hard for the Dallas Cowboys to build a competent roster. We all know that it's not completely true, but what is true is that the Dallas Cowboys, one of the biggest priorities is to get Dak Prescott extended. Extending Dak Prescott allows the Dallas Cowboys to free up over $20 million of cap space, right? And right now we are like negative $10 million, right, over the cap. We're in the red right now. So we have to make some necessary roster moves to free up cap space. The easiest one of these is to give Dak Prescott an extension. Extending him lowers his cap hit. This year would be the biggest cap hit of Dak Prescott's career. He's slated to make about $49.5 million against the cap. The first time in his career he would actually ever be making over $40 million against the cap. So to prevent that from happening, not saying Dak Prescott is not worth the money, but to alleviate some of the pressure that cap hit is putting on the roster, you can just extend Dak Prescott, and it is not something that is overly complicated. Now, how the Dallas Cowboys front office typically operates is they try and use the media, right, in their negotiation tactics. They do a lot of muck racking, mud slinging, defamation. They do a lot of things to try and turn the fan base against a player when it's time to pay them. We saw with Dez Bryant, with this infamous tape that never actually appeared, right? We seen it with Ezekiel Elliott, the comments they made about him while he was in Cabo. We seen it with Dak Prescott the first time he came up with it for his money, and really, like they really didn't muck rake Mark. Well, they did muck rake Amari Cooper because they said he was quitting on plays and stuff around the time it was time to pay him, right? So they always force a player to either sit out, right? They always force a player to force their hands in paying them. The Dallas Cowboys do not need to overcomplicate this matter. Even if you were to say give make Dak Prescott's annual hit like annual money like 45, $47 million a year, right? That is just what it says on paper. Because remember, right now Dak Prescott is making $40 million a year. And he has never cost the Dallas Cowboys $40 million against the cap. Swain, I see you tapping in with me, man. Jazzy Jeff, what's up with you? Tyrone Church, what's up with you, man? Right, yeah. And like Tyrone Church said, it's very possible that you can manipulate the cap where Dak Prescott's cap hit is only like $18 million a year this following season if you do the extension, right? So there are ways around it, but that is one of the biggest moves they have to make. That is the largest amount of money that you can free up on any roster move. Even there's more money than even cutting Ezekiel Elliott. There's more money than cutting Tyron Smith. There's more money than any of the other moves that you can make, right? And I'm pro keeping Zeke as long as he's willing to help them with the cap, right? So that is the first move that Dallas Cowboys have to make. And again, we seen them drag their feet before, in such situations. We seen them turn what would have been a $30 million a year contract into a $40 million a year contract just by them being, not being proactive, just by them basically bidding against themselves by prolonging the extension. Do not make that happen again. Hey, Chris Johnson, you welcome, man. I saw ain't nobody else live right now, so I thought I'd jump on, give y'all some quality content for about an hour or so. I'm gonna get in here, get y'all what y'all need, and I'm gonna spend some family time, Ken folk. So how does Kansas City pay Mahomes and still add talent? It is possible. Yeah, like listen, and Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys make themselves look incompetent. See Burleson, what's up with you, man? I see you tapping in with me. Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys make themselves seem incompetent with the way that they do their roster building. Nobody else in the NFL is struggling to add talent around their quarterbacks. And there are plenty of quarterbacks making just about the same amount of money or more than Dak Prescott. Because remember, he is only the ninth highest paid quarterback in the National Football League. So you mean to tell me they're able to load up Matthew Stafford with all the weapons in the world? They're able to load up Kyler Murray. They're able to load up Josh Allen. They're able to load up Patrick Mahomes. All these other players, but the Cowboys are the only team in the NFL that can't figure it out. It's a cop out. It's lazy. It's a lazy narrative. And and you actually have guys that that you're supposed to respect. They're supposed to be reputable guys up here reporting on this, right, in the media. But a lot of these people that you think are independent, from the Dallas Cowboys, they usually push narratives for them. But over here, we do not do any bootlicking. We do not do any ass kissing for the front office. We don't cape for the Joneses. If they do something good, I will give them all the credit in the world. If they do something stupid or say something stupid, I will say so. So that's why y'all rock with me. You trust me to keep it real with y'all. And it's stupid for Jerry Jones to come out here and lie to y'all like y'all 10 years old. So yeah, with that said, get that extension done with Dak Prescott. Also, on another note, since we are talking about roster moves that have to happen, he said, cooling doing the hubby list. OG Mac 06, Dollar Bill Jones is convincing Jerry that they were broke. Eli, bro, think we dumb or some just excuses. Yeah, I agree, man. And listen, you ain't gotta lie to us. Just tell us the truth. But if they were to tell the truth and just say, hey, we don't want to spend the money, there would be more backlash. So they got to come up with something to make it palpable, for the fan base. But with that said, when we talking about roster moves that have to happen, I'm gonna talk about one of the roster moves that cannot happen. The Dallas Cowboys, right? And I just opened it up talking about Dak Prescott's needing to get an extension to clear up some salary cap. We're in the red. There have been people talking about cutting Ezekiel Elliott. I'm not one of them. I would prefer to keep his talent. Right? There's people talk about cutting Tyron Smith. I am one of those people. Right? Me and West Coast and landlord disagree on that front. I'm fine with that. The guy's played 17 games in 3 years, so I don't expect much from him. But one thing that's circulating around right now that they're speaking on is one Tony Pollard receiving the franchise tag. That is a roster move that they cannot make, and we can't look at them as a serious contender doing something so stupid. Not that Tony Pollard is not a great player, not that Tony Pollard does not need to be on the team, or that we do not need Tony Pollard. We need Tony Pollard. He led our team in explosive runs. He led our team in rushing yards. He was tied for first on our team in total touchdowns with 12. Right, so like and he was our fifth leading receiver. With that said, you cannot ask all these other guys to be trying to restructure. You cannot be threatening to cut all these other guys. You cannot be doing all these other things and then come in here and give a player $10 million up front, guaranteed against the salary cap. That makes no sense. That's bad roster building, and just make Pollard count 5 million against the cap. Yeah, like listen, if you want Tony Pollard so bad, roll up your sleeves, get a long term deal done, right? And listen, if you were to sign Tony Pollard to a 3 year, $30 million contract, right? Let's say on paper that he still makes $10 million a year. It's just like financing a vehicle, right? You come to the car lot. Let's say it's a $30,000 car, but you got $5,000 down. Well, you're paying $5,000 up front, so you're only financing 25K, right? And that's the same thing with these long term deals. Same exact thing with these long term deals, right? So let's say you give Tony Pollard 3 years, $30 million, but he gets a signing bonus. No, the moment he signed the contract for 10 million. Well, you just gave Tony Pollard $10 million up front in the form of a signing bonus. You only have to finance the $20 million for the rest of the 3 years. So with that said, the other $20 million, you know, the, that's only about 660,000 dollars a year, right, for the rest of the life of the contract because you gave him $10 million up front with for a signing bonus. So the cap hits are a lot lower going forward. It still said that he's making $10 million a year, but the cap hits are much more manageable, and both sides are happy. Tony Pollard on paper is a $10 million a year quarter running back, and the Dallas Cowboys are not coming out a lot of cap space. And that might be possible. You never really know. And no, tagging is not better because if you're going to tag Tony Pollard, just let him walk. Listen, the cap is in so much disarray right now, right? We up here asking all these other guys to bend over backwards to create cap space. I am not then going to turn around. All right, let me put this in perspective for you, my guy. I appreciate you for rocking with me, Samuel Rowe, aka landlord from Wakanda, aka that boy over there trapping vibranium. So, hey, let me put this into perspective. Let's say we do all the needed roster moves, and and not saying that I want to do all of them, but let's say we do all these needed roster moves to clear cap space. Dax gets an extension. Like they cut Zeke, they cut Tyrone. You can create like $50 million worth of cap space, right? So let's say they do all these crazy things and create $50 million of cap space. Why would they then turn around and give one player, Tony Pollard, 20% of the cap space that they just created? Because if they create $50 million in cap space, they give Tony Pollard $10 million guaranteed. That is 20% of the cap space that you just created, right? For a 1 year deal for a running back. When you put it into perspective like that, does it really make sense to give him? Does it really make sense to give him the franchise tag when you look at it from that perspective? Right? You got folks up here restructuring their deal. You got folks that people love getting cut. All these other things, right? And like Chris Johnson said, they're probably going to end up pocketing the cap space anyway. So it might be. He said because their asset doesn't have a long life, then let them walk. If you do not feel that Tony Pollard can last for a long term deal, right? You don't think he can be a long term asset at running back, then you need to go ahead and get another running back that you think can do that. So sorry about that. I got kids. But yeah, but now if you don't think Tony Pollard can stay healthy, then don't sign him. Then don't sign him at all because you have to invest at that position. If you don't think Tony Pollard is a long term solution at running back, then don't just give him the franchise tag. There's a great market in running backs right now, right? Look at all the running backs that are currently free agents. If you do not think Tony Pollard can last 3 years, you just don't sign him to you just don't sign him. Don't invest $10 million for a 1 year rental. There are other options out there if you don't think Tony Pollard can stay healthy. But those are the options. I'm not giving Tony Pollard the franchise tag. Either he's not a Dallas Cowboy under those situations. Either he's not a Dallas Cowboy, or you're signing him to a long term deal, but don't franchise tag him. Yes, Tavis Banks said let Tony test the open markets. Like if you're not comfortable giving him long term money, then don't sign him. All right. Now that we discussed one of those moves that cannot happen, right? We discussed that Tony Pollard should not get the franchise tag. Last thing that needs to happen. Joshua Fisher, what's up with you, man? I appreciate you for tapping in with me. All right. So let's talk about another move that needs to happen. And I know some of y'all do not feel the same way. Listen, you can't have it both ways, Samuel Rowe. You can't sign Tony Pollard to a 1 year deal. Because listen, you don't think he's going to be healthy for 3 years. You do not need Tony Pollard. You do not need Tony Pollard. You don't think he's going to be healthy. If he can't last for 3 years, you do not need him. There are other running backs out there. There's Josh Jacobs. There's Jabal Williams. There's all these other running backs that are on the open market that you can sign if you do not think Tony Pollard can stay healthy. But what I am not going to do is give Tony Pollard $10 million guaranteed after I done bent over backwards to create cap space for a 1 year rental. Hey, DC for life. I appreciate you for the $5 donation, Ken Folk. I thank you a lot for the love and the support, brother. But yes, nah. Like either you sign Tony Pollard for me, like, and y'all are welcome to disagree. This is America. You have your own minds. This is a free country. Like you're allowed to disagree with me. But me personally, I would not give Tony Pollard a 1 year deal and take up $10 million of cap space when it is easier to sign him to a 3 year deal. And the beautiful thing about a long term deal, yeah, that's cool. It's all love. But peep this, you can still build in and out. Just like, hey, Michael Gallup signed like a 5 year deal. He signed a 5 year deal. The Dallas Cowboys can cut him and save money next year. They can cut him and save money next year. So if you don't think he will make it 3 years, just build an out into his contract. They're simple. They do it with everybody else. The Dallas Cowboys have just conditioned us, to the point where we expect them to use the damn franchise tag every year. Other teams are not just throwing the franchise tag on guys willy nilly like that, especially not running backs. Especially not running backs that aren't the best running back in the National Football League. Like Josh Jacobs is expected to get the franchise tag, but he just led the league in rushing. So I can understand them wanting to hold on to Jacobs. But I believe I can get. I'm not saying that Tony Pollard is the easiest guy to replace because I want him back, but I need him back to where I can pay everybody. But yeah, next roster move. Cause we talked about Prescott's extension. We talked about Pollard not needing to be tagged. The next thing that the Dallas Cowboys have to do is re-sign Donovan Wilson. I know a lot of y'all are not going to agree with that. I know some of y'all believe Donovan Wilson's production is easily replaced. I actually do not feel that way. Donovan Wilson, if he had a bigger name, would have easily been an all-pro safety this year, just based off the sole production that he had. And I'm just gonna go and pull up his statistics. I'm gonna show you. We're gonna walk through it. Tell me one safety on the open market that can come in and give you the production I'm finna give you. I'm finna tell you. Just humor me. Humor me. You do not have to agree, but tell me one safety on the open market you can come in and sign that's going to be able to give you this kind of production. So he had 77 solo tackles, which was ninth in the entire NFL. He had an interception. In pass coverage, he was targeted 31 times, only allowed 20 receptions, right? He had 37 run stops. He had 5 sacks, and when he was targeted as a passer, he only allowed a passer rating of 84.2, right? And consider this: he had 391 snaps against the run, 535 snaps in coverage, 33 snaps as a pass rusher. Played well in all three phases. As a coverage guy, he was good. As a run defender, he was good. As a pass rusher, he was good. It's hard to find somebody with that versatility just sitting there on the open market when you already have them on your team in a system that they've been developing in, right? So the Dallas Cowboys have to work something out with Donovan Wilson. Now I do trust Dan Quinn in his player development. I do think there's a possibility he could have these other guys like Izzy McQuamu or Marcus Bell ready to play, but I do not want to actually bet on that. I would rather I know for a fact right now today that Donovan Wilson is a good safety. So why mess with something that's not fixed? You can just re-sign Donovan Wilson, keep his production, and not worry about creating a hole in any other area. Hey, my boy said I got that HD and 8K sound. I appreciate you, Darren. I've been trying to upgrade, man. And hey, it's really because of y'all, man, that I'm able to keep improving my craft, kinfolk. Because of y'all donations, I was able to go out and get this nice mic right here, man. I was able to go and get this mic because of the donations y'all sent to me, right? So I appreciate y'all. If you want to keep seeing the channel grow, please go ahead and send donations to the Cash App. It's at the top of the chat box. It's Hennythemoor. So if you want to continue to see the channel grow, you want to see me invest into the product that you're getting, send donations. I will spend it on equipment. Next thing up is a pop filter for the mic. Then we're gonna move on to a soundboard. But I'm gonna keep upgrading the channel for y'all since y'all keep coming in and supporting me. All right. So yeah, Donovan Wilson is a must sign for me. But that's just my personal opinion, right? Like I said, we are all allowed to disagree. So I just need to see in the chat box. Put a one if you want to keep. Hey, put a one if you want to keep Donovan Wilson, and put a two if you want to let him walk. All right, let's take a little quick poll in the chat box. If you want to keep Donovan Wilson on this team, put a one. If you put two, that means you want to move on from Donovan Wilson. So go ahead and put it on there. All right, I got a one from Swain. I got a one from Chris Johnson. I got a one from DP Johnson. I got a one from Darren. I got a one from James Simmons. I got a one from Regina Green. One from Michael Lockhart. One from Jazzy Jeff. One from Cowboys Fan 95. All right, so like everybody in the chat box wants to keep Donald. One from of Jay SoCal. All right, one from Dak We Trust. Okay, let's see. One for Da Lee. All right, so yeah, we definitely got to keep him then. I think most of us agree on that, right? Donovan Wilson is a valuable asset. And listen, we seen how the Dallas Cowboys handle when they let players walk. We saw that the Dallas Cowboys were not able to properly fill the void left by Amari Cooper when he left. So I do not have faith in them replacing the production of Donovan Wilson. Like Amari Cooper left, and there was a gaping hole, and there was a steep difference in our wide receiving core. Matter of fact, outside of CeeDee Lamb, not a single wide receiver had over 600 yards last year. So yeah, I do not trust the Dallas Cowboys front office to actively go out and improve the safety position if they let Donovan Wilson walk. And we already have way too many holes on this roster. We have way too many holes on this roster to worry about trying to fill another need that's not necessarily there right now. All right. Now that we went through that one, right? I'm going to give you another roster move that cannot happen. All right. We talked about the Dallas Cowboys things that they should not do, things that they should do. When this going to be another one they should not do. The Dallas Cowboys should not, and don't and listen. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this because of the name attached to the player. The Dallas Cowboys should not allow Tyron Smith to still be a Dallas Cowboy. Y'all are going to go crazy. I know a lot of people love OG Tyron. I love OG Tyron. But the best ability is availability, and he has been available 17 times in the last 3 years. That's it. He has played only 17 games in the last 3 years. You know, the counter argument, which I do agree with, is when he actually goes out on the field and he plays, when he is available, he is one of the best left tackles in the National Football League. It's just that at this point, right, at this point, he has not been available for you. At this point, you have not seen Tyron Smith that much. So I understand if people do not feel the same way that I feel when I make this statement, but Tyron Smith, you save $10 million by cutting him. You can move on. You can let Tyler Smith be your full-time left tackle. There are available guards, right? Because you already done tendered Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele is going to be under roster. He's ahead of schedule. He is expected to be fully healthy by the time, right? He's expected to be fully healthy by the time that training camp starts. So your right tackle is solidified. If you really feel the way you feel about Tyler Smith, and you think that he's ready to be the left tackle going forward, you let him develop, you let him take his bumps and bruises, and you move forward with him. So you can cut Tyron Smith, save $10 million, and you can invest in a good, you know, left guard to play beside Tyler Smith. I know, Brian Kite. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard because I fool with Tyron. Like Tyron, man, is a gold jacket type of player. He's going to be a Hall of Famer one day. He's one of the best to ever do it at the position. I have nothing but love, respect, and admiration for him as a player and as a person. But I cannot sit here and act like Tyron Smith has given me much of anything these last couple of years. He has not been there for me. He's not been there for he had not been there for the team at all. Last year he did not even make it through training camp. So how can you expect this man to stay healthy and contribute anything to you going forward? TB Johnson said he wants a vet tackle. Tyler is who I want at guard to help keep A gap clean. Life's crazy. I would rather sign Wagner than LBE. I completely agree with that. And listen, from the sounds of it, it sounds like they are not even close to working out a contract with Leighton Van as we speak, right? Leighton Van I don't know if he's playing hardball. I don't know if the reports are accurate, but push comes to shove. If if LBE and the boy Wagner want similar money, I am pushing LBE off of a bridge and signing Bobby Wagner in a heartbeat. LBE, she should have been gone with Shamian Smith. And listen, I would have preferred to kept Jalen Smith over LBE because at least Jalen Smith is still a starting middle linebacker in the NFL. That's a position we actually needed as middle linebacker. LVE filled in at middle linebacker when he'd been a weak side linebacker his entire career. So we talking about guys that could have added more value to the team. It was actually Jalen Smith that would have added more value to our team for what we needed. Because you actually go look at the numbers, I think he graded out as a better run defender than LVE did. I could be mistaken. I have to go back and double check the numbers. But if we're talking about an actual middle linebacker, you were better off keeping Jalen Smith. DP Tyron looks like it as of now. Yeah, man. Listen, I love Tyron Smith, man. I really do. It actually hurts me to have to say this, but it's I think it's time, man. I think it's time. And this might be a conversation that is taken out of our hands anyway. There's no guarantee that Tyron Smith does not retire. Right. LVE ain't no Mike. He doesn't have that dog in him to lead the pack. He's not a Mike linebacker. I don't think he's cerebral enough. I don't think that I would like to see the more first level tackling instead of backs, etc., getting to the second level. I definitely agree with that. And I really hate that the Run Payne got franchise tag. That was the roster move that I was beating the table for the Dallas Cowboys to make. His presence, as a big nasty in the middle would have made life easier for all our linebackers, right? You might have seen LVE take another step in his progression, playing with defensive tackle like the Run Payne, right? Because that's exactly what that is exactly oh yeah, I done lost my train of thought. What was the boy name? Ray Lewis. That's exactly what Ray Lewis said about when they added Haloti Nata. He said that having him made his life much easier because his front office came to him, and I think I told this story on the last live. But he said his front office came to him and they asked him what he needed, and he said he needed a big nasty, in the trenches to eat up those guards for him. So that's when they went out and got Haloti Nata, and the rest is history. And listen, I would definitely take a Hargrave. Now since the Run Payne is not available, there's actually a couple of guys on the free market that I would still take. I would take Hargrave in an instant. I take Dalvin Tomlinson, even though these last couple of years he is not graded out great against the run, but I have like 4 or 5 years of him being a good run defender on tape, backed by statistics. So maybe these last 2 years were outliers. There's a good possibility that LVE goes to the Chargers. I don't think it helps him. I don't think that helps them at all. There's a possibility that LVE and Dalton Schultz go to the Chargers. I think Dalton Schultz would look good with the Chargers just because they're going to throw the ball about 40 times a game. But I don't think LVE is going to be a difference maker for the Chargers if that was to happen. Yeah, like that doesn't move the needle. That doesn't move the needle. So let's see. What do y'all feel though about the Tyron Smith signing? If you want Tyron Smith back, put a one. If you want to move on from Tyron Smith in the chat box, put a two. Again, add it to the chat. If you want to keep Tyron Smith, put a one. If it's time to move on from OG Tyron, put a two in the comment box. Lamont can't lie. I'd rather take a big defensive tackle early in the draft than one in free agency. Last mile on the tires and cheaper. See, I normally would go that route, but this is the thing. This is the thing. And yes, Jay Lewis. And listen, Ray Lewis was great from day one. But I'm just telling you what he said. He said that having a good defensive tackle made his job easier. So listen, I know for sure that I ain't got no Ray Lewis on my team. So if a defensive tackle made life easier for Ray Lewis, I'm definitely getting a defensive tackle for the linebackers I got. Right. So I see how many ones do I see? Let me look. I see a one from Swain to keep him, two from Michael Lockhart, two from Indak We Trust, two from DP Johnson, two from AJ Crow, one no telling that's still gonna be like beginning of the season, which is true. But Tyron Smith was horrible as a right tackle. So, him staying would be predicated on his ability, right? He is gonna be predicated on his ability. I'm split. He's a team guy. He may decide to be serviceable backup on a restructured deal. United came in day one as a dog his rookie season. He was a doggone killer. Yeah, that is true. if there is listen, if there's somebody that is comfortable to a loading out in the draft this season, then you take them. Like if you can get the boy from Pittsburgh who's getting comparisons from Aaron Donald, I would get him. But I'm not taking a flyer or anybody else. I got a warrant from my guy Jay SoCal. Okay, so it's a mixed bag, and I do understand, some of the hesitance about moving on from him. Right, I do understand some of the hesitance, so I don't blame anybody that does not agree with me. And honestly, even if they kept Tyron Smith at a reduced rate, I wouldn't lose sleep about it. I would prefer to retool and get younger, but it is what it is. And like you said, even if they don't find uh, a perfect spot for him, he could contribute in ways like Jason Peters did this year. Bobby Wagner is close to Ray Lewis. I damn sure. Hey, that's. I'll just talk about the guys on our team right now, but I would feel great with Bobby Wagner as a middle linebacker playing for the Dallas Cowboys. Sup, Hen? What mode do you have mic on? You might need to put it on the one look like a heart on the second button. It blocks all noises from other direction and one take in the sound from you. Let me take a look at that. See, I got it on the one that look like a heart already, landlord. Cause I think I got it on the one that look like a heart already. Can't lie, I saw the tackle from UGA. He's built like Tyler, but a bit slimmer. Yeah, there's some good prospects, but I always prefer. I would say so I don't have to talk close to the mic. Okay, okay. But yeah, there are some good prospects, coming up in the draft. But I always prefer to get veteran players. I know what I'm getting. Hold on. Okay, cool. So yeah, I know what I'm getting. They have proven a resume against NFL players already. I don't have to project how they would look at the NFL level. That's why I like veterans. I know better what I'm getting. Right? Did y'all see Freeland from Birmingham Young? I have not seen him. I have not seen him. You said his name Freeland? No, I ain't seen him. I did see my boy Matt Landers making some money at the combine. He said that's perfect. He said that'd be $29.99. Hey, landlord or landlord for real, man. He up here taxing through the chat. That boy trying to collect. I like best too, but dang Henny, Jamar Chase came in. The August CBs knocked digs though. True, 6'6", tackle 4'9", 4. Ooh, okay, yeah. I'm gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to do a breakdown on him because hey, we are planning to do a draft show pretty soon, man. Me and landlord. So he already got the show built. I already got the numbers together. We just gotta think of a day to do it. It'll probably be next weekend sometime that we get a chance to actually come together and do this draft show for y'all. But we will, ahead of time give y'all a heads up about when to tap in and when it's going down. So like some of these names that y'all are bringing in or bringing up, keep them and then send them to us. Hit it with my send them to my inbox, send them to landlord inbox. We'll pull some of these guys up. It's gonna mostly be Razorbacks, Alabama shows. So those are the teams that we collegiate teams that we follow. Y'all going to do a mock draft as well. I ain't gonna lie, I don't fool with mock drafts, kinfolk. I because I don't really know how these teams are going to operate. There's going to be a lot of trades that happen nobody sees coming. There's going to be a lot of guys that people overdraft and nobody sees coming. I don't typically do the mock drafts. I'm more the guy. We're gonna look at the stats. We're gonna look at the game tape on the players, and then we're gonna analyze if they're worth getting picked. but I don't really fool with mock drafts myself. He said facts and they all nefarious. Bijan and Zeke had the same 40 time at the combine. What Bijan end up running? You know, I forgot that the dang running backs were even running today. So he ran a 4.4. Yep. Bijan Robinson ran a 4.46. You know what? I need to see what that boy Spears ran. Ty J. Spears. All right. He ran a 4.4 as well. Ty J. Spears did. Okay. I'm gonna have to go look at some of these 40 ties. It's not like it matters. Arcane ran a 4.35. Okay, cool. I knew he was fast. Slightly undersized, but I do like his speed. And it's not just like regular speed, right? It's not just like short speed. Like you can see his speed in his pads. Like he plays fast. So I expected him to run a fast 40. Slam was a 4.46. Okay. Yeah, Slam gonna be a dog when he gets some more developmental reps. Like when Slam is ready to play, like he's gonna be a monster. He's gonna be a monster. But yeah, so we talked about it. We said that Dak Prescott needs to be extended. I said it'd be done for the Dallas Cowboys to tag Tony Pollard. We said they need to re-sign Donovan Wilson. Ooh, Gills ran a 4.36. Yeah, I think I'm sold on Gills as a playmaker because Gills can play slot receiver if it came down to it. He can play slot. He can come out the backfield. So you know, I if the Gibbs is available, even at 26, I would take him. I don't think it's an overdraft for Gibbs. I don't think that's an overdraft for Gibbs. I think he might be worth taking a pick number 26 if he's the best player available, of course. I know some people are down on him after the combine, but the wide receiver Jordan Addison, I still at him. I don't care if he only run a 4.5 or a 4.49. Like he is definitely worth a pick. He's too explosive on film and too productive in college not to get drafted because he's a couple milliseconds slower than you thought he was. He said Slam will get mad and beat up a tackle instead of rushing. Seen that a couple times, but not mad. Man, he got that dog in him. You know, sometimes the dog get off the leash. Swain, he is a threat. He a no brainer pick at 26. I agree with that. Like, yeah, like there's a bunch of guys that are if they're actually there at 26, I think everybody will be happy with. And you know, there's a couple of different positions that if these guys fall, you'll be happy with them. If Jordan Addison is sitting there at 26, like you should be happy with him. If Gibbs is sitting there at 26, you should be happy with him. Right? If Zay Flowers fall to pick number 26, you definitely should be happy with him. Mozzie Smith is a great pickup too. Mozzie Smith. Oh, I forget the name of the boy from Pittsburgh, but he definitely would be a great pick at 26 if he can get there. He ran a 4.6 as a defensive tackle, right? He had 7 sacks, you know, back to back seasons, you know, these past 2 years. Like he's a damn good prospect. I like Chase Brown too, not at 26 though. Okay. So matter of fact, let's segue. You know, this is not part of what I initially wanted to talk to y'all about. But go ahead, man. Like, add some more names in there. Who would y'all want the Dallas Cowboys to select at number 26 if they fall? And look, I'm a little bit higher on Jackson now. He didn't run the 40. That was probably strategic because I think he would have ran a slow 40 time. But he did excellent in like the cone drills, right? The things that actually matter in a receiver getting out the break. Like, yeah, who do y'all want to see? Add those names into the comment box. If they fall to 26, who do y'all want to name? I see that boy Jackson. I see that y'all said Mozzie Smith, right? Give me these names, and you know we'll do some research on them, and we'll give y'all a show based off that as well. Cause y'all naming some dogs. Y'all naming some damn good dogs. Posey, the only place DA will get to is the trade block. Dang. Okay, let's see. I already said I take Gibbs. Out the boy Arcane. I know we were talking about him just based off of 40 times. Yeah, his cone and his shuttle made him money. You already know I don't too much care about the 40 because if I'm not mistaken, Jerry Rice ran a 4.7, Keenan Allen ran a 4.7, Cooper Cup ran a 4.6, CeeDee Lamb ran a 4.5, Dez Bryant ran a 4.5. Like there's plenty of wide receivers that came in and have been dominant without having a fast 40 times. That's not even really part of it. Because if you're a good enough route runner, you sell your releases, you got a good first step, like you're gonna get open. Because 40 times is just indications of straight line speed. The only time you're running straight line speed in a on a route anyways is a go ball. And you hardly ever see those. You hardly ever see those. Let's see. But yeah, y'all add some more names, man, because y'all said Majid Smith. Y'all said JXN. Who else y'all trying to see on here, man? Talk to me. I talk back. I called the Illuminati and sacrificed Kellen Moore for all the college film. I mean, hey, if you did, that was the perfect person to sacrifice. He said Keanu Benton from Wisconsin. He's a defensive tackle. See, that's a name I ain't never heard of. NFC, what's up with you, man? I appreciate you tapping in with me. Yeah, thank you for the support, NFC. I thank you. Oh, yeah, that's the perfect man to sacrifice. But hey, now that you done sacrificed the boy, we can't sue him. I think we would have won our class action lawsuit if we went ahead and sued Killer Moore before you got him whacked. What's up, Henny? I will say this: if we resign LVE, it will be the biggest mistake of the offseason. Man, I agree. Like LVE does not need to be re-signed. You need to be working on trying to get any other middle linebacker, right? Even if we don't get Bobby Wagner, Devin Bush is a better linebacker than LVE, right? And he's available. Tremaine Edmonds is a better linebacker than LVE, and he will be available, right? So there are other options out there outside of Bobby Wagner. If Bobby Wagner's too rich for your blood, I know Devin Bush will not be, right? I know Tremaine Edmonds shouldn't be. Matter of fact, let me look at free agent middle linebackers. Let's take a look at some of these free agent middle linebackers, right? All right, so listen to these names that are available. Deion Jones, Devin Bush, Anthony Walker is pretty damn good. Kyle Van Noy, he's a little bit older, right? Quan Alexander. Then you got Bobby Wagner, Tremaine Edmonds. See, there's some guys on here that can probably give you some more value than LVE is giving you right now. There's some guys. There definitely some guys that you can prove on, and why you don't even have to go out and get the Levante Davis available. So there's a bunch of guys out here that have a leg up on LVE in my opinion. And I'm trying to get the rest of Gary guys except Martin and Dak out of there or backup role. I agree with that. C. Burleson said he thinks that Jordan Addison is the most NFL ready in the draft. That's a good possibility. As a route runner, he's one of the best. He's explosive out of his breaks and his cuts, and he has production. So like I think his game translates well into the NFL. He a big boy and projected mid second, early third. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna check him out. Brian Brent, yeah, man. Like, see, there's a bunch of guys in here that I wasn't even thinking about. Like Brian Branch is a damn good pickup. I do not think the Dallas Cowboys value the safety position at all. So I don't actually think they would draft a safety in the first round. But it makes sense though, right? If you're having issues keeping Donovan Wilson, if you're not happy with how Malik Hooker plays, right, you can upgrade the safety room possibly. But I like Brian Branch. I think he will be a great pick at 26. I just don't think the Dallas Cowboys value the safety position. Let's see. LVE pulling a Daniel Jones right now. Man, yeah. And listen, that's how you know Dak Prescott playing for good money right now. That's how you know Dak Prescott playing for good money. He only making $40 million a year. The won 61 games. The won two playoff games. Right, set franchise records all over the thing. Only making $40 million. Daniel Jones, after one decent season, he wasn't even good. After one decent season, he said he won $45 million. But folks really gonna still be mad at that. Y'all tripping. Now remember we have Marquise Bell who looked good last preseason. Charlie Jones or Matt Landers would be a good addition to the NFL room. Yeah, y'all know I'm real high on Matt Landers, man. Like Matt Landers played for my Arkansas Razorbacks. He had a real good season this last season. Led us in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. And when you look at his measurables, man, the man is 6'4", some change. Some have him listed as 6'5", 200 pounds. That boy ran a 4.37. So he definitely made himself some money. He was a guy that a lot of people had going undrafted. With his measurables and him having a good season last season, I do not think that's going to be the case anymore. Now, I do not think he's gonna become a first round pick or anything like that. I don't think he's gonna just shoot up people draft boards that high. But I do believe that he's made himself some money. I don't think he get drafted in the later rounds now because of his performance at the combine. Or can't Arkansas. LOL QB killed y'all last season. Now he was fairly decent. His absence killed us more than that he actually did. That he missed a lot of games. Like you might have turned it on and seen one of our backups playing, but he is actually going to be a quarterback I got my eyes on coming out of next year. As crazy as that may sound, check out Siaki Ika, defensive tackle from Baylor. I seen him. I did see him. And I do like those Samoan defensive tackles. Like those Pacific Island defensive tackles be different. Like them boys nasty, dog. Rocket came from my alma mater. See, I fool with Rocket Sanders. I fool with Rocket. Like I think he's going to be a real good prospect when it's time for him to come out next year. I don't think he's going to get the same kind of love, but I do like Rocket Sanders. Yeah, see, he a Florida boy. Okay. Yeah, I would love to have Rocket Sanders as a Dallas Cowboy. It make it real easy for me to cheer for these boys, having already, rock with them from college onward. So yeah, I really like that. Jonathan Mingo, yeah, he's the wide receiver from Ole Miss. I think Ringo game would translate. You're talking about Ringo, the cornerback from Georgia. Yeah, I do think he's a good corner, but man, the cornerback I really want, man, is Manuel Forbes. And he just had a pretty decent combine. I know some people are still hesitant because he's light in the ass. The boy only like 160 pounds, but he's still 6 foot. He ran a 4.3, and he had 14 interceptions in college. Tied the NCAA record in pick sixes with six of them. So man, I do think he's a great prospect. He'll probably be available in the second round. He'll probably be a guy in the second round that you can go out and get, and you can develop. I don't know if he'll be ready this year to be cornerback too. I highly doubt that. But you know, I do think he's a good one. Man, for his feet at the combine was sketchy to me here. Hey, That's what you need. That's what you need a defensive back coach for. He does not have to be perfect. There's a reason that Forbes is not considered to be a first round prospect. But all these guys that go after the first round have bigger question marks than the guys that do go in the first. There's always going to be questions about somebody like something, right? There's always going to be questions about something. But what you cannot deny is Forbes is a playmaker. He's aggressive. He takes risks. He takes down. He sure takes risks, right? But like you like players that have a knack for getting their hands on the ball. And look, with good coaching, like some of those things that are technique wise, you know, I can live with. If he did not have, and this is the one thing I do like, he has the hips for it. He has the hips to be a cornerback. If he didn't have, if we looked at him, and he didn't have the hips, that's a different story. But the footwork we can work on. That's what the defensive back coaches are for, to clean up the footwork, the form and things like that. So I'll take a chance on him with bad footwork, but he has the hips. We have an all season program. I don't usually be concerned about like weight, right? Because like guys can gain weight all the time. 166 concerns me a little bit, but I just need him to get up to 180. I don't need him to be 200 pounds. I don't need him to be a monster. Like just give this man a hand sandwich. Get him to 180. If he could play at 180 and be efficient at the NFL level. Right, 180 to 185 is the key weight he needs to reach. But getting into an NFL offseason program, getting the strength, working with NFL level strength and conditioning coaches, that's part of the player development. That's part of the player development. So I'm not if now listen, that's something that can be changed. Thank God that he is actually 6 foot, right? Because if he was little in the ass and 166, then that might be something that would scare away a lot of potential teams. But I think with some coaching and spending some time in the NFL all-season program, I think he'll be all right. Because there's some things you can't coach. Like that, there takes some natural instinct and playmaking ability to get 14 interceptions at any level. And it's even crazier to get six, interception returns for a touchdown. Right. I can't look at playmaking ability like that, that's once in a lifetime, and then not take a flyer on it. And I'm still and listen, even if I draft Emmanuel Forbes, I'm still going out of my way and getting another cornerback. I'm still getting another cornerback because I want to have another veteran on the other side of Diggs, and then I don't have to depend on Emmanuel Forbes. I can let Emmanuel Forbes develop this year coming in. Let me see. Jenny was asking, would you use Orkane in a Darren Sproles role? He was nasty with the Saints. I definitely would. I definitely would use him at that. And Henny, and you do not have to apologize for anything, Kinfolk. You up here rocking with me, right? I just appreciate that y'all and took the time out your day to come on this show and listen to me ramble on about them damn Cowboys. Henny, why do people think we need a cornerback and NT so bad? We got Diggs and Bland as our 1 or 2, then resign. But this is the thing: the run Bland plays the slot, right? The run Bland is a natural slot corner. Now, there's a possibility that he could play cornerback too, but I don't think it's fair to the run Bland to ask him to play at a different position because the front office is too lazy to address the cornerback room, right? So the run Bland, all 5 of his interceptions, all those good plays he was making, that happened from the slot position. Now they did ask him to go out there and fill in and come back too once the injury started piling up, but that was not his natural. Though that was not his natural position, right? And listen, he played number two once Anthony Brown got injured. At some points he played that. And if we're being honest, the touchdowns he gave up was playing quarterback too. He was not getting worked over, playing in the slot. I definitely would still go out and get a cornerback too. Big Bud Cowboys for life. We need a DT. We need a DT. Who the DT is, I do not know. But I still would resign Hankins for depth because he only played for like $1 million this year. He only played for like $1 million this year anyway. So it would cost you next to nothing to retain his services. Keep one of your better run defenders on there, and then you can still add another defensive tackle. Because if we are being honest, you have not gotten much from Neville Gallimore, and you damn sure have not gotten much from Quentin Bohannon. Quentin Bohannon has just been big and in the way. He has not really graded out well against the run. He has not really got on the field as much as you thought he would. Maybe he can turn things around eventually, but right now he is not looking good for the boy. He is not looking good for Quentin Bohannon, right? And I rock with Quentin Bohannon, but he has to do better. He has to do better to stay on this team, in my opinion, anyway. Yeah, like a lot of y'all really do like Monty Smith. So let me go ahead, since we're on this subject. Let me pull up what Monty did in college. So let's take a look at Monty's stats. Okay, so let's see. So this last year, Mozzie graded out the best of his career. He had an overall grade of 79.9, played in 14 games, played 632 defensive snaps. He had 393 snaps as a pass rusher, 238 snaps as a run defender. He had one sack, five quarterback hits, 19 hurries. Right, he aligned in the A gap 185 times. He aligned in the B gap 400 times. Over tackle 41 times. Outside of the tackle two times, and off ball four times. Okay. Now let me see if I can find his tackles for loss and all those other good little nitbits of statistical data. All right, so we know that about him. So let's take a look at total tackles, tackles for loss. Let's look at the meat and potatoes, shall we? So he is a defensive tackle. And honestly, when we're talking about defensive tackle, this is really a guy who you need to look at on tape. A lot of what these defensive tackles do does not show up on the stat sheet. That's why a lot of times they come up with grading systems for defensive tackles and for offensive line players, because at least defensive ends get sacks, right? But with defensive tackles, they doing most of the dirty work, clogging running lanes, like things like that, holding up the guards or the tackles. So a lot of what the value they bring is not necessarily seen looking at the raw analytical numbers, right? Outside of like what people grade them, and even then, that is up to subjection. So it's always good to look at film on defensive tackles, right? So never just look at the defensive tackles numbers and just say yay or nay to them. But he has pretty solid numbers. He had 49 tackles. Let's see. He started out well, though. I don't know what happened. No Hannah. Man, I don't know what happened to Quentin, man. I don't know. It might be a confidence thing. Maybe he's not taking his nutrition or workouts the right way. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. He said Mozzie benched 325 for 22 reps. Okay, so he's a pretty strong boy. But yeah, but man, I'm gonna collect some of these names once this live is over, and then I'm gonna put together a show. We'll put together a show and we'll analyze some of these guys. But yeah, man, uh, this is my second show for the day. I'm gonna spend some time, get off here, spend some time with my family. So I do appreciate y'all for rocking with your boy so tough. 325. Yeah, he benched 325 22 times. That what they said. I thought it was 225 what they benched. Yeah, I really thought that they benched 225 at the combine. Either way, he got 22 reps. On the bench press at the combine, he got 22 reps. I'm pretty sure that's what they're talking about. But yeah, man, I do appreciate y'all for taking the time out of the rock with your boy. Please, like B Bird said, please go ahead and hit that like button. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button on your way out. And if it's in your heart to do so, the Cash App is at the top of the chat box. It's Hennythemoor, $ Hennythemoor. So I do appreciate y'all for everything. I will go live tomorrow, bring out some more content. But yeah, just please tune in. I appreciate y'all for the support, and I will get at y'all later. God bless.